The city of Geneva slept soundly. It was a cold night in early spring. The moon was just a sliver of light in the dark sky. The great buildings of the financial district stood like silent giants. They held the world's secrets and its wealth. Inside their vaults, unimaginable fortunes were kept safe. Or so everyone believed. No one knew that a storm was coming. It was not a storm of wind or rain. It was a storm created by one man. A man with a plan so perfect, so audacious, that it would shake the world of finance to its very core. He was about to perform a magic trick on a global scale. In a small dark apartment far from the glittering banks, a single computer screen glowed. Its light painted the face of a man named Julian Thorne. He was not a man you would notice in a crowd. He had a simple face, plain clothes, and a quiet manner. But behind his ordinary eyes was an extraordinary mind. For years he had studied the systems that move money around the world. He learned their secrets, their codes, and their weaknesses. He saw the digital rivers of wealth flowing every second of every day. And he had built a dam, ready to divert a small portion of that river for himself. The clock struck midnight. In the heart of the Swiss banking corporation, alarms remained silent. Security systems reported that everything was normal. The digital guards were sleeping, but they were not just sleeping, they were dreaming a dream crafted by Julian Thorne. He had not broken through their defenses with force. He had gently lulled them into a state of blissful ignorance. His code was not a hammer, but a whisper. It moved through the bank's network like a phantom, unseen and unheard. It was designed to mimic normal data traffic, a wolf in sheep's clothing. Thorne's fingers moved across his keyboard. He was not typing frantically. His movements were calm and deliberate. He was like a surgeon making a precise incision. With a few keystrokes, he entered the central transaction hub. This was the digital heart of the bank. Billions of dollars passed through this point every hour. Thorne was not interested in billions. Greed was the downfall of lesser criminals. He was a professional. His target was specific $37 million. A sum large enough to change his life forever, but small enough to potentially go unnoticed for a short time amidst the ocean of transactions. The first transfer was small, just a few $1,000s. It moved from a dormant corporate account to a temporary holding account in another country. The system did not flag it. It was a test. Thorne watched the transaction complete successfully. He then initiated the next one, slightly larger, and then another and another. He was like a fisherman casting multiple lines into a vast sea. Each transfer was a separate small event. They were sent to different banks, different countries, using a complex web of shell corporations he had built over years. The money was being sliced into tiny, untraceable pieces. The digital ghost was at work. It was rewriting records as it went. For every dollar that was moved out, the ghost created a false record showing it was still there. Who was this man who could command the digital world with such grace? Julian Thorne was a name, but it was not his own. It was one of many names he had used. The real identity of the man was a complete mystery. Investigators would later piece together a fragmented history of a brilliant but invisible figure. He was believed to have been a former financial software engineer. He worked for a top-tier firm that designed the very security systems he was now dismantling. He was the one who helped build the walls of the castle he was now plundering. During his time as an engineer, he saw the flaws. He saw the backdoors left by lazy programmers. He saw the human errors that no machine could prevent. He saw how much faith the world put into these fragile systems. But he never spoke up. He was a quiet observer, a student of weakness. He quit his job without any warning. He simply disappeared from his old life. He left behind a clean apartment, a few books on philosophy and coding, no personal connections. It was as if he had evaporated, leaving no trace of the man he once was. Julian Thorne's plan was not a single action, a symphony of many small, coordinated deceptions. It was built on a deep understanding of technology and human nature. He knew that the most advanced security system in the world was still operated by people. People could be predictable. His plan began months earlier by studying the routines of the Swiss banking corporation. He learned their maintenance schedules, their security protocols, and even the work habits of their key IT personnel. He knew who took their coffee breaks at what time and who was likely to ignore a minor system alert. The first movement of his symphony was the Trojan horse. He created a piece of software that looked like a routine security patch. He anonymously submitted it to a public software library that the bank's developers sometimes used. One of the bank's junior engineers, looking for a quick solution, downloaded and used Thorne's code. This single, innocent action planted a seed inside the bank's fortress. The code lay dormant, waiting. It did nothing suspicious, it simply waited for a specific date and time, the signal to begin the main performance. As the second night fell, the execution phase reached its peak. The $37 million had been siphoned from the Swiss bank. It now sat scattered across the 100 temporary accounts. This was the most dangerous moment. The money was exposed. It was like a pile of gold sitting in the middle of a public square. Thorn began the next phase of his plan, the scattering. With automated scripts running in perfect sync, the money began to move again. It was a digital waterfall, cascading through the global financial system. Each of the 100 accounts began making thousands of small transactions. A few $1,000s were wired to a textile supplier in Bangladesh. A few more were sent to a software company in Estonia. Another portion was invested in a volatile cryptocurrency. The money was being chopped into even smaller, more insignificant pieces. It was being mixed with legitimate transactions all over the world. The sheer volume and complexity of the transfers were designed to overwhelm any investigator. It was not a needle in a haystack. It was a single grain of sand on an entire beach. While his automated scripts worked, Thorn focused on his own disappearance. He began erasing his digital footprint. He used a specialized program to wipe the hard drives of his computers, overwriting them with random data until they were unrecoverable. He closed his encrypted email accounts. He dismantled the private servers he had been using. He was methodically destroying every link that connected him to the identity of Julian Thorn. He was not just running away, he was erasing the fact that he had ever existed. The final step was the most audacious. Thorn initiated a command that sent a single powerful surge of electricity through his own equipment. The computers sparked and died. The monitors sparked and died. The network devices sparked and died. A small wisp of smoke rose in the quiet apartment, carrying the last remnants of his digital ghost. The 48-hour window was closing. The heist was complete. The money was gone, scattered to the winds of the global economy. And Julian Thorn, the man who had orchestrated it all, was now ready to perform his final vanishing act. The stage was set for the escape. With the digital part of his plan complete, Julian Thorn began his physical escape. He did not run. He did not rush. He calmly packed a single small backpack. The discovery was not made with a sudden alarm. It was a slow, dawning horror. On the third day, a senior account manager at the Swiss Banking Corporation was reviewing a quarterly report. A number seemed off. It was a small discrepancy, easily mistaken for a typo. He checked it again. He ran the numbers through the system. The system said everything was correct. But the manager had a gut feeling. 30 years at the bank had taught him its rhythm. Something was wrong. He dug deeper, pulling up raw transaction logs. That is when he saw the ghosts. Records of transactions that did not make sense. Tiny amounts moving in strange patterns. He followed one thread and then another, like pulling a loose string and watching a tapestry unravel. Account balances were a lie. Automated reports were a fiction. The money was not there. Panic set in. Today is September 21st, 2025. Many years have passed since the great digital heist. The Swiss Banking Corporation has rebuilt its security and its reputation. The financial world has moved on. But the legend of Julian Thorn, the ghost, endures. His story has become a modern myth, a testament to the idea that a single, brilliant mind can challenge the most powerful systems in the world. He was never caught. The $37 million were never recovered. He simply vanished, leaving behind nothing but a question mark. Sometimes a new theory will emerge. A financial analyst might spot an unusual investment pattern in a distant market and wonder if it is him. A tourist might take a photo of a quiet, unassuming man sitting at a cafe on a tropical island, a man who looks vaguely familiar, and the internet will buzz with speculation for a few days. But these are just stories. There has never been any concrete evidence. He remains a phantom, a whisper in the machine. Where is he now?